Hmm? Example 2016, right? Okay, we have there in 2016. So you have 2016 there. Also the name of Andy Murray, right? The British professional tennis player Andy Murray. And that's it. What else? The world's number one could be the same with world's top tennis player. Alright, so we have already Andy Murray, we have world's top tennis player, we also have 2016. Alright? Now we continue. How about 5 years? 5 years, okay, the last sentence, okay, for the first paragraph, you have the last sentence there. Yet 5 years later, 5 years previously, okay, 5 years previously. Okay, 5 years. 5 years previously, the last sentence and the last sentence for the first paragraph. 5 years previously is the same with 5 years before. Okay? So we have that. What else? How about people expected? He had been regarded. Okay, expected is the same with the word regarded. Still the last sentence from the first paragraph. Yet 5 years previously, or 5 years before, he had been regarded as a talented outsider who entered but, what is the twist? But never won the major tournaments. Again, never won the major tournaments. Now, what is again the questions to number 1? Oh, by the way, we just located first the keywords, and then the skimming is we read or we do flash reading. Flash reading would mean that you have to read the sentences where most of the keywords are found as quickly as possible, as fast as you can. So, where can we find again this one? In 2016, the British professional tennis player Andy Murray was ranked as the world's number 1. When? What year? In what year did he become the world's number 1?
2016.
In 2016. Okay, remember, in 2016. And then the last sentence, yet 5 years later, 5 years previously, he had been regarded as a talented outsider who entered or who joined but never won the major tournaments. Now, if we go back to number 1, what is the question to number 1 again? People had expected Andy Murray, again, people had expected Andy Murray to become the world's top tennis player for at least 5 years before 2016. Now, you have to check if this information in number 1 is true from the information in the first paragraph. Okay, I'll give you, let's say, 1 minute to think about it. Is it true or false? Based from, again, the text in the first paragraph. Is it true, false, or false? What do you think? Is it true that people had expected him to become the world's top tennis player for at least 5 years before 2016? Take a look at the last sentence. Yet 5 years previously, so 5 years before, he had been regarded. But what was he regarded for? A talented outsider who entered but never won the major tournaments. Is this true or false? What do you think? Is it true? Okay. Is it true or false? False. Okay, try to analyze because you need to check whether the information in number 1 is true from the passage or from the text. to become the world's top tennis player for at least 5 years before 2016. Now, okay, if I may give the answer is, what is, yeah, just give me a guess. Or like your analysis to it. True or false? Who says true? False. Who says false? Raise your hand. 1, 2, only 2? How about the others? Is it true or false? Okay. The answer is false. Why? Okay. Yet 5 years previously, he had been regarded as a talented outsider who entered but never won. Never won. But in number 1, it says to become the world's top tennis player for at least 5 years before 2016. When it's not true, because he never won any contest or competition. So number 1 is false. Clear? So when we do the scanning and the skimming methods of reading, we always begin with looking for the keywords, and then we scan, we locate those words, like these are the most important words in number 1, and then we look for it beginning from the first paragraph. Okay? Now, the first paragraph is where we were able to get the answer to number 1, which is false, right? Now, for number 2, you should continue reading to the second paragraph. Do not go back to the first paragraph now, because our answer to number 1 is taken from the first paragraph. So we proceed to the second paragraph. How about number 2? The change that Andy Murray made to his rackets attracted a lot of attention. What are the most important words here? We do the scanning first. What are the most important words for number 2? Of course, the word change. What else? The name itself of the person, which is Andy Murray. What else? Rackets. What else? Attracted. And also a lot of attention. Okay. So after that, locate for these words in the second paragraph. By the way, you may highlight, you may underline. If you have a highlighter with you, you may also highlight them for easier, for easier use later on. So for number 2, where can you find most of the keywords? Okay, the word change, where can you find it?
At the start.
At the start, right? Of the changes. Did you find it?
Yes.
Of the changes that account for this transformation, okay? The change that we are mentioning. How about Andy Murray? Of course, Murray, no? Either Murray or Andy Murray, it's just the same. What else? Rackets. How about rackets? Third sentence, no?
The second sentence.
The second sentence. What is the second sentence?
Another change was so subtle as to pass more or less unnoticed.
Okay, by the way, we already have the idea there, by the way, no? Class, take a look at the sentence. Another change was so subtle as to pass more or less unnoticed. But the question to number 2 is, the change that Andy Murray made to his rackets attracted a lot of attention. I mean to say, a lot of people noticed it. A lot of people were made aware that, oh, really, that was his rackets and so on. Like a lot of people. But what is in the sentence from the passage? Another change was so subtle as to pass more or less unnoticed. What is the meaning of the word unnoticed? No one knows, or no one hardly knows about something. Now, do you think number 2 is true or false?
False.
It is false, because it's not correct to say that the change he made to his rackets attracted a lot of attention. In fact, it even went unnoticed. Okay? So things like that, class. So in a reading exam, we have to do really a lot of analysis so that we can get the correct answer to a particular question as well. Now, we will continue with that in a little while. So the reading text can be very long, like what you have there. It's a long text. In fact, not all of us would want to read texts as long as this. I also don't want reading, especially if the texts are this small. The text is too small, right? So I would not really want to read it. Boring. It would make me sleep. I can feel for you. You say, teacher, it makes me sleepy. Whenever I read a certain book, or this one, for example, it's making me sleepy. I understand. I can relate with you if that's the case. In fact, if whenever I feel like I can't sleep properly, I read a book and eventually I would fall to sleep. That's the power of reading. No? It will make you sleep really, and that's okay. But of course, in the reading exam, hopefully you will not sleep. Okay? Otherwise, you will fail the test. Okay, so the same case with the other exams. There will be a band score from 1 to 9. 1 is the lowest and 9 as the highest. So if your band score is 1, that means you're a non-user of English. If your band score is 9, that means you're an expert user of English. Okay. It is also important to take note of the question test types. Okay, we call them as types of reading questions. Alright? Now, may I ask everyone to proceed to number. Wait for a while. Number 27. I think the last page. Number 27. Numbers 27 until 30 are all examples of multiple choice type of questions. Okay? Now, when we speak of multiple choice, you will be given choices to choose from. It could be A, B, C, D. It could also be A, B, C, D, E, F, G. It could be many. Alright? It depends on the question. Now, for the multiple choice type of test, you need to check the sentence very well. For example, number 27. Number 27's focus is very clear. Which paragraph should you focus on? First. So just focus on the first paragraph. And the question is, what point does the writer make about misinformation in the first paragraph? What are the keywords here? Point. Yeah, writer, and then misinformation. Of course, first paragraph. Now you proceed to the first paragraph. We will use here, class, the third reading passage. Okay, the third reading passage. What is the first paragraph? It's all about misinformation. Correct? Okay. Misinformation, you have to read them, by the way. Because for a multiple choice type of test, if it's about the entire, let's say the entire paragraph, first paragraph, you have to read them as quickly as possible. So misinformation, both deliberately promoted and accidentally shared, is perhaps an inevitable, perhaps an inevitable part of the world in which we live, but it is not a new problem. People likely have lied to one another for roughly as long as verbal communication has existed. Deceiving others can offer an apparent opportunity to gain strategic advantage, to motivate others to action, or even to protect interpersonal bonds. Moreover, people inadvertently have been sharing inaccurate information with one another for thousands of years. Okay, that is the information in first paragraph. Now proceed to the letters, the choices. A. Misinformation is a relatively recent phenomenon. Is it correct?
No.
Like it is a recent. It is not, because in the first paragraph it says that information with sharing inaccurate information, the last sentence. Sharing inaccurate information with one another for thousands of years. So it's not recent. What is the meaning of the word recent, by the way? Recent, like currently, like now, at present. That's recent. So letter A, is not a possible answer. Now, for a multiple choice type of test, let's say so this letter A, B, C, and D. If A is not a possible answer, we eliminate that. So what are the choices left? We have B, C, and D. Take a look at letter B. Some people find it easy to identify misinformation. Is this correct? Or is this the point made in the first paragraph?
No, it was not mentioned. It was not mentioned.
It was not mentioned. And let's say, for example, some people find it easy to identify misinformation. No. Yeah, it's not mentioned. There is no mention in the first paragraph that some people find it easy to identify misinformation. So you again eliminate that. So what are your possible answers now? C and D. Okay, how about letter C? Misinformation changes as it is passed from one person to another. And letter D, there may be a number of reasons for the spread of misinformation. What do you think is the answer to number 27?
D. D.
D or C?
D.
Again, the point being made in the first paragraph by the writer.
D.
What made you say it's D, Hassan? Would you mind explaining?
In the first paragraph, writer said there's deceiving models can offer currently opportunity and strategic advantage to motivate others' action or even to protect impersonal bonds.
Yeah, that's also one thing we have to look into. But how about letter C? Do you think letter C is also a possible answer? Like misinformation changes and it is passed from one person to another?
It was not said in the first paragraph.
It was not, yeah, the letter C is not really mentioned in there. But when you, for example, take a look at deceiving others can offer an apparent opportunity to gain strategic advantage, to motivate others to action, or even to protect interpersonal bonds, are all examples of reasons why misinformation has spread, has been scattered to the rest of the world. And so, letter D for number 27 is the correct answer. Okay? So, for a multiple choice class, we need to do a lot of elimination. A? Is it A? But A is not mentioned there. Or it's not true. Okay. Not A. B? Let me check. Not also with B. You eliminate. So it will be easier for you to answer either C or D. Again, I know that reading will take a lot of analysis for you to get the correct answer. Please give yourself some time to analyze them, okay? Do not rush, do not pressure that I should get the correct answer now. Give yourself some time, especially during your practices. Now, the other test type is matching headings. This one. Matching headings. The example for this is number 14. Please proceed to number 14. Okay, number 14, we'll use passage number 2. Okay? Now, for this one, if you notice, passage number 2 has how many letters? How many letters are there in passage 2? Around 7, right? From A to G. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Now, you know, matching headings class is the most difficult part of the exam because you really have to go through everything. Next number 14. A reference to a denial of involvement in piracy. What are the keywords here? Reference, denial, involvement, piracy. But sometimes the words here are not the exact words in the passage. So we use synonyms. Okay? We use synonyms. Synonyms are words with similar meaning. Okay, for example, good, I don't know, beautiful, pretty, handsome, good looking. These are synonyms. Now, we have to look for where in the sections from A to G can we find a denial of involvement in piracy. Again, it can be difficult, but if you give yourself some time, you will get it. Okay, let's begin with letter A. For example, letter A. Can you find an information there wherein there is a denial of involvement in piracy? Take a look. Again, it will take you some time to get the answer. Is there a mention, class, of the word piracy in letter A? Yeah, there is. Right? Letter A first, letter A. Piracy or pirates. Yeah, there is piracy there or pirates, but the question is denial of involvement. Denial would mean, like, for example, if you tell me, like, teacher, I saw you last time, let's say at the park, or let's say at the amusement park, and I would say, no, I did not go there. I was not there. I am denying. I am saying that your statement is wrong. That's denial, okay? Denial, an example, teacher, I think, let's say for example, I think I saw you last time. And I would say, no, I did not even go out from my apartment. So that was not me. That's denial, okay? Now, here for number 1, piracy may be mentioned, but is it about denying something? For example, however, despite all efforts and the might of various ancient states, piracy could not be stopped. But it's not about denying something. Am I right? So letter A is not a possible answer. Let's proceed to letter B. What do you think of letter B? Letter B speaks about the Mediterranean region, like the place itself. So it's not about piracy. Okay? Letter C. What do you think of letter C? And you have to do fast reading here. Also in letter C, right? There's no example of denial of involvement. Letter D. I think we're getting some answers in letter D. What word can best help you get the answer here? Proceed to the second to the last sentence of letter D, beginning with in the letters. In the letters, the king of Alashia, the king of Alashia rejected what? Akhenaten's claims of a connection with the Luca. The king assured Akhenaten he was prepared to punish any of his subjects involved in piracy. Is letter D the answer to number 14? Yes or no? What do you think? Yeah, again, it can be very difficult sometimes, no, but again, give yourself some time to analyze carefully. Rejected is the same with saying I am denying. Okay? Denying that we are involved, that we are a part of this, what we call piracy. So, number 14's answer is letter D. Because there's a mention here about denial of involvement in piracy. That was the king of Alashiya, now the modern Cyprus. Okay? Questions about the matching headings. Again, this is the most difficult type of question. Why? Because you have to go through a lot of paragraphs. A, B, no, there's none. C. You have to do it that way. It's not the same with multiple choice or the true or false, wherein you really begin with the first paragraph. And the first passage, for example, you cannot find here any letters like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? Just purely paragraphs. Okay? So for the first passage, it is as they say, it is the easiest because you will only find here paragraphs, not the same with A, B, C, D, and E, which is a bit hard sometimes to do. Okay? Now, how about number 8? Hey, number 8, this one. Number 8. Number 8 is complete the notes below. So it is a note completion type of test. Now, what is the title inside the box? The title. What is the title? The tennis racket and how it has changed. That's the title. And what are the first words mentioned? Mike and Bob Bryant made changes. Now, locate for Mike and Bob Bryant. Which paragraph can you find their names? Because we will then start our answers from that paragraph. Now, which paragraph can you find the name of Mike and Bob?
Third paragraph.
The third paragraph? Yes, okay. Yeah, the third paragraph, you can find there the name of Mike and Bob Bryant. Others, can you follow? Okay, so we have the third paragraph. Now, what's with number 8? Mike and Bob Bryant made changes to the types of blank used on their racket frames. Okay? Since the third paragraph is the paragraph where we should start from our note completion exam, we have to go through what is this one here? Made changes to the types. Okay, made changes to the types of blank. It's empty. Used on their racket frames. Determine the keywords first. Changes. What else do we need? Types. Yeah, racket frames. Okay. Can you find them there in the third paragraph? Oh, by the way, types may not be the exact word here. It could be the synonym. What are the synonyms of types? It could be kinds, it could be categories, it could also be divisions. It depends on how it is being used really. But let's say, for example, types. If kinds is the synonym, locate for the word kinds. Aha, were you able to find it there? Yeah. Were you able to find it? Kinds is the same with the word types. Kinds. Kinds is the same with the word types. Are you able to find it? Kinds? Oh no, third paragraph. Kinds, were you able to find it? Kinds? Very good. Kinds. Were you able to find the word kinds? This one. Kinds. Were you able to find it? Kinds. Yeah, kinds. Alright, so we have that. Types of blank. And here, kinds of what? Paint. So the answer to number 8 is paint. Alright? So that's usually how we do it. So later class, for your, let's say numbers 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, begin with the third paragraph. Okay? So you have paint, And you know, the word paint is here, second to the last sentence of the third paragraph. So the other answers, like number 9, could be here, 10 could be here, 11, 12, until you finish the entire paragraphs. Okay? Clear? Alright. Now, other questions that you may want to ask. Questions? Okay, I will give you some time to do this one. Can you finish this reading test within 1 hour? Is it possible? 1 hour. Let's give it a try for 1 hour. Given the strategies we discussed and also some sample answers. So, since we answered numbers 1 and 2, and also number 8, what else? We also answered number 14, right? And number 27. So that means you already have what? 5 points for this. Okay, you have already 5 points for this one. So kindly do the rest of the questions within 1 hour only. You may start now. And then we'll have the report writing later if we have enough time.